This is just saying. And this is a people's blog about, guess who? Monique. Now first I would like to share, because I always like to share stuff like this. I walked this morning and I finished without stopping and taking a rest. Well, I kind of took a little rest. You know, exercising is difficult for me because I didn't do it all my life. I've always been real active, but I've never been very connected to exercising. So I have to push myself to do it. And I did it this morning. Yay! I really did. Anyway, this is a people's blog about Monique. I have a video clip that actually you could hear her talk and what type of person this is. A person for African American people. She's on the money. She doesn't compromise herself. That's like me. You know, I got criticized a whole lot about the Obama thing. You know, I lost a lot of friends, but so what? He was ridiculous for 6 years. To his own people, African American people, he was. When those little boys were killed in the middle of the street, Michael Brown, that was disgusting. It was his remarks. And one of these days I'll do a video on that. And the reason why I haven't done a video, because it is over. The way he treated African American people will continue with the next president, because no one spoke up about it. But we speak up about a lot of other things, like Christy Capel. Everything is racism. Now it's some little boys that were on a basketball team, and the little boys put on a monkey suit. And they're criticizing, well, the parents should have told the little boys not to do that. Come on, now people got to tiptoe around people that don't speak up for themselves. With the president and Attorney General, you had two people, two heads, and you said nothing. That is how African American people or black people are. You're complaining about things that just everything people do is racist. Come on. But you don't take care of yourself, Lamert Park. You have black people with money that could have helped, and you did nothing. But you will say Christy Capel said jigaboo. Come on. And then Monique. You got this Lee Daniels. I will not see another one of his movies. It just shows who he is and why support that, you know. But there will be, just like they did Obama, you know, there will be. And as long as black people are like that, they will go nowhere. Nowhere. So we won't. You know, we don't pay attention to things that matter. And I loved Monique's response on this particular video, where she explains, and I believe, Lee Daniels tells his little part, and it is sad. But then you see why I like her so much from this video. She compromises nothing. They wanted her to ride coach to France. Her and the other young lady, Precious. And she said, and said something about it. They didn't like that. Come on. I mean, if you do something to me, and I'm going to tell you what type of person I am, I will tell you so fast and then live without you. I don't need you. I don't need people like that. I don't need energy like that around me, because that's very, very pitiful. But then they sit around and clap for Obama. And he really put his foot in your boo-boo. Yeah, I said it. So, here we go. Here's the video of Monique. Monique, I hope your film is doing great, will do great, greater than Lee Daniels, because that's how the energy, the spirits do. That's how it happens. When you curse someone, that curse goes right back to you. Think about it. Talk to the water on that. I talk to water. I know that sounds funny, but it has memory. And I pray to different things and meditate to different things. And water is my major one. Try it sometime. You may get what you want. Congratulations, Monique, on your success on your new movie. And guess what? I love you, girl. Have a good day, everyone. Bye for now. I'm just saying.
All right, everyone, I want you to sit down and watch this next interview. Because after winning an Oscar, any actor should expect to get offers for the best parts in the best movies. But that's not the case with Monique, who won Best Supporting Actress in 2010 for her role in Precious. She says the movie's director, Lee Daniels, told her that she's been blackballed because she's difficult and didn't play the Hollywood game. I'm going to ask her about that in a moment. But first, a clip from her searing performance in Precious.
Who else was going to love me? Since you got your degree and you know everything, who was going to love me?
Joining me now exclusively is Monique. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Don. How you doing?
I'm doing well. That was you in Precious, and of course, you know, it's a Lee Daniels movie. You wore the gardenias in your hair for your Oscar speech in honor. It was dedicated to Hattie McDaniel. You thanked her. She was the first black person ever to win an Oscar. You thanked her for her enduring legacy and all that she had to do with you, with getting you there. Meanwhile, though, they said that Sunday's Oscars has been called the whitest since 1998. What's going on?
You have to ask them, Don. I don't have the answer to that. And when I heard that joke, I said it must be something when they start making jokes about it to say this is the brightest Oscar award. So it's something that we all have to take notice to, but it's a question that I cannot answer.
It's been 5 years now. So what's it been like? Did you get any roles? Did anybody call? Was your phone ringing off the hook?
You know, the phone was ringing, and the scripts were coming. And when people say, Monique, where have you been? It's not that I haven't been on TV or been in the movies because I've been blackballed, as Mr. Daniels has said. The offers just didn't make sense, Don. So, again, the phones didn't stop ringing and the scripts didn't stop coming, but the offers that were associated with them were offers that made me say, guys, I can't accept that. Because if I accept that and I won the award, what are my sisters being offered that didn't win the award or wasn't nominated? And what does it say to the little girl who's not here yet, that if we continue to accept these low offers, however do we make it different and make a change?
Okay, I want to play this. This was Lee Daniels on this very broadcast last night. Let's listen.
Okay.
We were on the campaign, and she was making unreasonable demands. And, you know, and she wasn't thinking, this is when reverse racism, I think, happens. You know, I said, you have to thank the producers of the film. You have to thank the studio. And I think she didn't understand that, and I think that, and I said, listen, people aren't going to respond well if you don't. So I love her, and I've spoken to her, and she's brilliant. And I like working with brilliant people. But sometimes artists get in their own way. I think that there were demands that were made from her on the Precious campaign that everyone knows about that hurt her, and I told her that.
Can she change that?
I mean, if she plays ball, you got to play ball. This is not just show. It's show business, and you got to play ball.
What's your reaction, Monique? You didn't play the game. You had difficult demands.
I want to address it for the order that it went in. And when Mr. Daniels said I had these demands, it shocked me because I was saying to the screen, Don, please ask him what the demands were. And actually, there were no demands. There was a request from the movie studio, and they called and requested that I fly to France for the Cannes Film Festival. I simply said I respectfully declined, because if you can remember at the time, there was a talk show called The Monique Show. I was doing a comedy tour. I was actually in the award season of the awards, and I'm also a wife, and I'm a mommy. So when they called, I had a couple days just downtime. I wanted to spend that with my husband and my kids. So when we said we respectfully declined, the movie studio called back again. And they said, okay, well, we'll upgrade her hotel room. And my husband simply said again, we respectfully decline. She's gonna take this time with her family.
Yeah.
Well, when the third call came, and they said, what is it gonna take to get Monique to France, to the Cannes Film Festival? And my husband said, is there a number associated with it? And they said, oh, we would never pay for anyone to do any promotions for a movie. And we said we understood, because what people didn't know was I was paid $50,000 to do the movie Precious. And it really wasn't about the money, and I'm not complaining, because I signed up to do it with my friend.
Yeah. But
So
you're saying that because you didn't have the money to do this on your own. Is that what you're saying? That you needed to feed your family and pay your bills?
I think that's what America says.
Yeah.
I think we all say, I can't do it for free.
Right.
So when the movie studio says we can't set a precedence and pay you to do this, we didn't have an issue with them.
Okay.
But that's when the reports came that now Monique is being demanding and she's being difficult. They had a request. We simply had a request. And they said they couldn't do it, and we said we understood. That was it. So,
Monique, you know how this
Yes,
works because you
baby.
had a talk show. I want to talk to
Yes.
you before we get off the air, because I think this is important. You said you weren't blackballed and you're working on other things. Coming out on April 24th, you have Blackbird. That's a project with you and your husband. You star alongside Isaiah Washington in that. It's an independent film route. Why have you chosen to take the independent film route?
Well, because like I said earlier, the
And put
offers
the
that
video
were
up of it
coming,
as we're talking. Sorry, go ahead.
the offers that were coming in, they just didn't make sense. And when Isaiah contacted our attorney, Ricky Anderson, and he said, I have to get this to Monique and her husband, well, when we got it, we knew that it was necessary that we get involved. And when we can get involved and have ownership of something, which means in having ownership, my family benefits as long as my likeness is on that movie. So to have ownership of it and to tell this amazing story. And the reason why it's so personal for me, Don, because remember when you had to come on the Monique show and you had to make an announcement to come out?
Yes.
We want babies to have to stop making an announcement to come out, and we want you to just be who you are. So that's what this movie says, and not only is it a movie, it's a movement for situations that's happening right now when you have people that's saying, we just want to be treated fairly. We just want to be treated as equal.
And we have to go, Monique. Thank you. Thank you
my
for
baby.
being so...
Thank